Hello everyone, welcome back, and today we are doing something different. As you can very plainly see, I have Manor Lords finally opened up. We are going to explore the medieval world once again, and I'm a little bit excited about this game. I've kind of dabbled with it a little bit. It is obviously an early access game. It released here on the 26th of April. There's still plenty of bugs. It's got its issues like every early access game in existence, so bear that in mind as we play through, but I still wanted to give it a go and see how it looks and see what you guys think about this as well. I think it's a pretty exciting game, to be honest, and I think it's worth checking out for you guys here. So let's make a new game here. We're gonna change our name. Just gonna be Delloed in this case. We'll keep it as simple as that. Now, I could be this dapper fellow right here with my nice little cap and thing going on, but I don't really look like that guy. I don't really look like any of these guys, but except maybe this guy without the beard though. That's unfortunate. But you know, we're actually gonna go ahead and choose this guy because at least he has the beard and got a little bit of that salt and pepper going on. I'm salt and paprika. I mean, the red beard and all, so you know how that goes. But let's change our coat of arms here. This is nice and thorough. This is really neat. Let's see what we can do here. So, we have these symbols we can do. I've always been partial towards wolves when it comes to medieval games because I like to be that lone wolf type of person. I'm not really seeing wolves, however, unless that's what this is. I can't really tell what this is. Nope, that's a spearfish, I'm assuming. Let's see. We got a goat. And a squirrel? That's an interesting one. Assuming that's a dove. We got a raven. Ooh, that's cool. Not gonna lie, that raven's pretty cool. Let's see, if we do secondary color yellow, primary black. Oh, that's neat, you guys. Background, and this needs to change still, but let's see, what do we got? It's like a Tudor flower, isn't it? And then we have our fleur de lis. Oh, geez, no. Maybe on a white background. That doesn't really fit well. There we go. I like the blue one. Photo custom texture. Well, that doesn't work. Cool. I like it. Can we make it a little bit bigger? Yes, we can. Awesome. All right. Well, since I can't do wolves, again, unless I'm just not seeing it, just going to do one more browse here. Hopefully they add more symbols. I feel like this is, although it's very neat, I really appreciate the current depth that this is giving us. I mean, this is really cool that they have different fields and whatnot. I'm still not going to personally do that. I like the singular symbol, but I mean, this is cool. This is a really interesting and cool thing to do. I'd be curious to know whether or not the heraldry is actually accurate in terms of, you know, how heraldry is supposed to be done, but I'm not a heraldry expert, so I can't say whether it is or not. I just like the way it looks. Very cool. So we're just going to keep it like this. Again, I don't see any wolves, unfortunately, so that's all right. But let's get started on this. We are going to do, let's see, we have a couple scenarios here. So there's the rise to prosperity. It says the premise is to fulfill the requirements of your citizens, plan and rule your medieval town as you see fit without worrying about combat. No, we want combat. So then there's restoring the peace. 2 territories in the north are claimed by the illegitimate baron whose castle is located off the map. Bandit camps reside in the other unclaimed regions. Build and expand at your own pace. When ready, challenge the baron for the northern territories. Okay, that's interesting. On the edge. Grow your city and raise forces as quickly as you can. The lands are pestered by raiders and undefended settlements will quickly perish. Survive all the attacks and reach the large town settlement level. Well, I'm no expert on this game yet, and that looks kind of difficult. So we're going to just shove that out of the way. We're going to do Restoring the Peace. I think that's a healthy balance between this madness and this not so madness. Now let's see what our end goals are. Conquest, none. Growth, domination. Eliminate all their lords by claiming their territory. Claim all regions. Reach large town settlement level to win. We'll do domination. I like that idea. No AI opponents apparently. Adds an AI opponent located off map. He controls 2 regions, brings the soldiers to the main game map when challenged. Okay, we want him present. Balanced, aggressive, reactive. Yeah, I like this one. Medium raiders, raider free years too. That's cool. So you could be raider free for a couple years before they actually attack. 1 initial bandit camp. Let's do 2. Okay. Free weapon delivery is for militia as soon as the player builds a storehouse and 5 residential plots. That seems cool. I think we're going to keep this as is. I don't want to mess too much with this stuff without knowing exactly what happens, so we only have access to a map that we can't even see. Looks like we can't. Oh. Default, please. I'm going to go back to that. There we go. Okay. Let's just begin this here real quick. Look at this guy right here. All fancy on his horse and his armor. All right. So what are we looking at here? Let's pause. I know the control. Like I said, I played around with it a little bit. I know the controls and whatnot. So WASD moves around the map. Middle mouse button lets you rotate and up down on the camera. Panning, I think that is what that is. And yeah, pretty simple. I really like this. So if I pull out, I could see the lands, but then it transitions to this map. And I really like that. I think that's a really cool way to go. So it looks like we start, this is actually excellent. We start with a rich iron deposit and a rich stone deposit. That is key. We don't have a rich clay deposit, and unfortunately, I need that. Thank you. Unfortunately, that's probably going to hamper us maybe a little bit later on, and our berries are really far away. That's also unfortunate, but this is good. This is really good. So the other thing I wanted to show too about this map that I really find interesting. Now the AI, again, it's not fleshed out in this game at all yet. We have the bear in here and he's off map. We don't see him. He never builds anything, which is unfortunate, but I'm sure we're going to get that in the future. I mean, clearly it's on there as an option. But what's cool is as your village grows, it'll start showing up on the map in real time, mind you. It'll start showing up on the map, everything that you build. You kind of see, if you look right here, the bits and bobs of our current little village with its little camp and little hitching post and supplies. So first things first, I always like to kind of look at the lay of the land as we see here. If I open up the build menu by hitting the C key, I can see where the underground water is, which is where we need to build our wells. It's the only place we can build our wells. You can turn that off, as you saw in the options. So you can build anywhere, but I really like the idea of being forced to find the underground water in order to build your wells. I think that makes sense, to be quite honest, but if you don't like to play that way, it's your prerogative. Emmer is an older type of wheat, so wheat is in the game. Emmer would be your fertility rating for wheat, and it's pretty decent on this little slice of land here. It's not terrible. I see some green spots, which is really good. We want to have the green areas. You can technically do it anywhere. It's just the yield is lower, obviously. Flax, not so good. Barley, not so good. Barley is used for malt to make ale, so that you could sell ale in your taverns. Now rye is a very hardy grain, and as you can see here, the fertility for it is much better than wheat or emmer. So rye, that's when you want to focus on being a farm community. Now for that type of stuff, this is our development tree. And again, early access, so we're looking at a lot of locked options here. So it's not fully fleshed out, but you have 4 ways that you can make your village. You can either be a forest management village, so like gathering berries, hunting animals, in this case deer, it looks like for the most part, trapping, you know, honey, making honey, apiaries, stuff like that. Then you have farming, which gives you the ability to have sheep. You can buy sheep, but it gives you the ability to have sheep grow and multiply naturally. You can do apple trees for your villagers' backyard farms. You can do better plowing, better bakeries, better fertilization by allowing your fields to become a pasture. So you can build a fence around your fields, and your sheep will move to those fields when they are fallow. Fallow meaning an unused field at that time. You let the field regenerate through the season. If you don't know any farming or anything like that, I'm not a farmer, by the way. You could also get rye cultivation in the farming tree. So you don't naturally start with rye. You only can get it through this tree here. And then finally, irrigation dramatically lowers the amount of damage caused by droughts. I have not seen a drought once yet in the game. I've never seen it. And my test playthrough, I would say, has a sufficient amount of time to have seen that, and it never showed up once. The trade tree is what I call this side here. It focuses on, you have foreign suppliers, gives you 2 types of carts, firewood and food, and it gives you a natural passive income of bread and firewood. And then trade logistics makes it so that you have the option on trading to build trade routes, and it costs a bit of coin if you don't have this trade logistics. So what that means in this case is, like, you could have, let's say you want to import pole arms. So they're a weapon in this case, so they're a bit more expensive than most things. If your town is big enough, it'll be like a pretty good chunk of change, which you don't want to spend your regional wealth too much on trade routes. I've especially learned that you honestly just don't really want to do trade routes altogether. For now, that's one of the bugs that I've run into is trading. It can be very messy eventually, but I'm assuming in the future it'll be much better logistically speaking, and the trade routes will be fixed. But for now, this will cap the cost of creating those trade routes to 25 regional wealth, which is, I can tell you right now, super reasonable. This next one here, better deals, allows you to remove the foreign import tariffs. So it does say effectively reducing all import prices by 10. So basically, when you're exporting your goods, it's a certain cost. Whenever you're importing those goods, before you get better deals, it's the cost of export plus 10. So if you're exporting, like, let's say meat for 3 gold, if you want to import meat, it's 13. But if you take better deals, it's 3. So it washes out at that point. And that's when you could do like there's 3 options in trading. There's importing, exporting, and full trade. Full trade is just both. And I think it makes the most sense if you have better deals to do full trade for what you want to trade out. Really, from what I've found, you want your villages to be kind of self-sustaining. Again, because of the trade bugs and how it's working right now. The way the game is designed, it looks like it's to make it so your villages are not singularly self-sustaining. You want to have trade, but because of the bugs, it is what it is. So right now, in the current iteration of the game, self-sustaining makes the most sense, which that's okay. That's totally fine. That's easy to deal with. Now, the last tree here, it speaks more to military related production and whatnot. So you have charcoal burning, which is a more efficient form of heating fuel. So instead of using firewood to heat your homes and to heat your furnaces, etc., you turn firewood into charcoal and it's twice as efficient. And then finally, you have deep mining on this part of the tree here. This just allows you to make a deep mine for clay and for iron currently. Those are the two only mined resources aside from stone, but you can't do a deep mine on stone, unfortunately. At least so far that I've seen. And then on the right side of this tree, finally, we have basic armor making and then advanced armor making. And then finally, the only final tier item that you can even do on this game currently is master armor making, which is plate armor. So you could get helmets and then finally mail armor and plate armor from this tree. I have not gotten to that point. The farthest I've gotten is basic armor making on the military tree. But yeah, that's just a quick little overview of the development tree here. Of course, things will very, very much so change. Right now, I feel like this is a good blueprint, but things definitely need to be tweaked, especially with how this forestry side works. I don't know that beekeeping and advanced beekeeping makes sense to be in this tree, but I don't know. It's not my decision. Policies. I can't really speak too much about these. I've not used them once and they don't seem to really be well fleshed out yet. I mean, you have your icon here, but you have no idea what it is. It's all locked. The only two options you have are hunting grounds, which means wild animals on rich deposits breed twice as fast, but you get 50% reduced yields on crops, which I guess might not be that detrimental, but it's not great. And then finally, strict fastings. Citizens skip every 5th meal, but reduces food consumption at a decrease of an approval on your village, which I haven't really honestly messed with that either. Production, there's nothing here. I have no idea what production's going to be. I can only guess. I mean, it's obviously production, so I imagine that's probably some kind of making of something, but who knows? But yeah, that's a quick overview of what you could do there for your villages. That's like the I guess the tree, the talent tree, if you will, to speak to WoW, for instance, like the RPG of your village. Anyway. So let's, I accidentally unpaused there. Let's lay out our land here. So we have this open space, which is nice. The King's Road is here. This is where all the trade travelers will come in through. And you definitely want to be connected to the King's Road so that people can obviously get in. They don't necessarily need it, but eventually you are going to have carts and they're going to travel with their carts and their horses and whatnot, and it's just much faster if they have a road to deal with. I like to kind of put a circle around the first hitching post, just because it's kind of like a fun little, this was the center of our town type of situation. Everyone starts out in our homeless tents here. We currently have 5 unassigned villagers. You need to have at least 1 unassigned villager if you're going to do any form of building. Otherwise, if everyone is in an assigned job, they cannot build. They're going to focus on their singular job if you put everyone on there. All right. So just at the top here, like I was mentioning, unassigned, you have unassigned, assigned villagers, the amount of living space or homes you have, or burgages, excuse me. The total population, it'll also show how, if you have population growth or not, your approval, your public order, which I haven't really run into an issue with this yet at all, but apparently it's the occurrence of crime and how often crime can occur. Not 100% crime, no, it means 100% order. This is your regional wealth. Now, regional wealth is different from your personal treasury wealth. Regional wealth is what, like the wealth of your citizens. Your personal treasury is obviously your personal treasury. You increase your personal treasury through taxation on your citizens and the regional wealth that they attain. Livestock tells you how much stable space you have, which currently just the one with the hitching post, and what types of livestock you currently have, and then obviously pasture space and how many sheep and lambs that you might have at that point as well. Then finally up here we have the number of months before supplies run out. I believe this is for surplus supplies, because I've noticed that this has been 0 at times where there is no food and no fuel at all. That's when you're really struggling. But I noticed that it wasn't about how much food or fuel I had at that point in time. It was the surplus of what I had, which it was none. So this button here shows me either right now it's showing the surplus goods or the total goods. Now they're the same at the moment just because we started that way. So everything is technically a surplus. But as time goes on, I like to keep it on surplus because you want to keep all these numbers positive. That means that not only are your villagers' needs taken care of, but then you have a surplus on top of that for any future people that are coming in, or if there's, for instance, winter, you use more fuel during winter. So it's nice to have a surplus on that as well. I'm not sure if winter takes more food. I haven't noticed that yet, but it does explicitly state that winter does take more fuel. So everything else up here, it's kind of self-explanatory. Construction items, food, fuel, crops, crafting materials, commodities, and military. And you can pause on each category there to read what they are, but they're pretty straightforward. All right. So we have our starting supplies, which there's plenty of food here and there's plenty of timber for us. What we want to do is first make sure we get our food production up and running, because that will be one of the first things that's, that runs out. So we want to be in the gathering tab here. We're going to make a hunting cap. I like to move them just near. Now, to place them, you just left click, or if you want to rotate like I am right now, it's hold down the left mouse button and then you can let go and move it back again. I'm just going to put that there. Make a road that goes directly to it. Nice and easy. So I got my hunting camp down. And then I definitely want to get a logging camp up and running as well. I'm going to put them a little bit over here. Rotate that once again. And we'll create another road for them to access. I'm just going to do that real quick because that will disappear there. The supplies will. And notice how it naturally goes around. I really, really like that. They did a really cool thing with how roads naturally bend and turn, and you can change how they bend. It's something that you can freely change. I just like the natural default way. It looks really, really good. All right, and lastly, we're going to do a woodcutter's lodge to make sure that we have enough firewood for our village as well. We'll eventually do everything else here, obviously, but for now, we're just going to leave it like this. I think that's sufficient there. What's really cool too, for construction priority, I want this one and this one to be done first. In fact, I want this one to be absolutely done first. So they'll work on this one, and then they'll work on this one, and then I have this one set to medium, so they'll work on that one last. But I'm also actually, let's see, let's look at our underground water again. Perfect. Okay. So we want to go to the residential tab here, and we can see that we can make a well. We'll put that down. We'll put this one as very low. And then we can do our burgage plots here. Now this is really cool. I really like the way they did this. So you have these plot points. It says plot points 4. You start out like this, and I can move my mouse over on the road here. And as you can see, I'm going to do an overhead here. You can see that arrow in the middle. That's the direction that it's pointing. So I'm looking at my screen facing in front of me. The arrow's facing towards me. So the front of the buildings will be on this side. And it's important because now I can move this up here and I can make a third or second, a third plot point. There we go. Now it's red because this thing right here. Oh no, it's red because I don't have enough goods. So I can't start this yet. That's okay. We'll get the goods in. So let's just unpause the game here. Oh, we have a new message. Okay. No, that's easy. Yeah, it's just saying what we need to do. Cool. So it starts off with kind of a slow speed. I like to do at least speed 2 to start for sure. Just because, getting things done and finished, it takes some time. But let's fast forward a little bit, and we'll meet back up once things are actually completed here. Okay, everything is finished. It doesn't take terribly long, thankfully. But we have a logging camp, like I mentioned, a woodcutter's lodge, and a hunting camp. So now, I'm going to pause it once again. What's really cool is there. So you'd think, okay, this is only 5 villagers. It's not. It's 5 families. Each family, I believe, is 3 people. And as you can see here, well, we're not going to upgrade to a worker camp currently, but you could see that there are much more than 5 people altogether. So it's all the families work together on the assigned job. So one person might be, you know, your logger. Their wife might be the person sitting at the market stall selling the goods that you've created. And then the other person in the family either might be a child or just another person to help transport goods. It's a really neat concept. Anyway, so we need to assign people to the logging camp, the hunting lodge, and the woodcutter's lodge. So we'll assign 1 to each right now.
Come on, people.
Hunting limit means that you will not hunt more, or you will hunt until, excuse me, there are 10 remaining animals left for them to breed back up, thankfully. All right, so we need to build logistics. So we need to build a granary. Or a granary? If anyone's played Stronghold. We also need a storehouse, which I'm also going to just put right in front here. I like to keep, because my mindset is to build the first homes on this side here. So I like to keep like the market and the first bit of homes that I'll create here within the same area, which also includes the granary and the storehouse as well, to keep everything just close knit, tight together, so that transporting goods doesn't take forever. There will be a point in time where I will have to create other storehouses and granaries, etc., just because things might get to that point. But generally speaking, I keep them close together. I'm still waiting on more logs to come in so I can start building homes. But we'll get to that point, and I will meet you there. Okay, so those are built. It is very important. Right now I have 0 people unassigned, so I can't build any construction or anything like that. The only reason why is that it's important to get your supplies into the granary and storehouse, because they will be damaged by weather should you not get them moved over quickly. So I'm going to have them start getting that stuff in. But while we're doing that, what's really cool is this will disappear. As you can tell, the timber has gone, and I can actually show you what this looks like with the organic way they do placement of certain structures. So we're going to be doing the market right here in the center of town. There's 10 tools remaining, so hopefully they get that moved here real quick. Yep, there we go. So now you notice it disappeared. So I'm going to pause it real quick. We're going to go to construction and then residential and then marketplace. So this is so cool to me. I'm going to click there. Click there, and then boom. It automatically fills in this space. Now, we can make 19 market stalls in this tiny spot right here. Not the best, but not bad. We'll start with that because the current family running the hunting camp is getting kind of annoyed that we don't have a market stall yet. So we'll let that go through. The families will automatically make their market stalls, which is really neat. I'm going to take him off there so now we have 1. But yeah, it's really, really cool how this all is situated. And then, so what that means is your people will have a market stall for food, clothes, linen, leather, armor, weapons, all the stuff that you can produce in your village. They will sell at the marketplace. And that's also including goods that you trade. So when you create a trade building, you can put up to 4 people, if I remember correctly, and those 4 people, those 4 families, I should say, will make market stalls as well for the goods that you get into your trade house. So really, really neat in my opinion. See, they've already made their firewood stall, and they will have 1 family member start selling firewood. I don't know what he's shoveling. Don't know, but I guess he wasn't actually, he's doing something else here. Okay, so they're building the food stall. So now we'll have food and firewood to sell here, which is really good. The approval right now is not doing too great because we're homeless. We have all of our families are homeless. And unfortunately, I still don't have enough timber to actually make their homes just yet. Pretty sure. So if I do that, yeah, just not enough. Can I take it down by one? No, still not enough. Well, what we're looking at here, and actually let me fix up just a little bit. Let's do that. So you might be wondering, what do these two mean? So first off, this side here, these icons, that's the actual home that's being made. And then back here, these are the backyard plots that you can do specializations on for each home. So for instance, you can have a home doing vegetables. You can have a home doing a chicken coop. You can have artisans making, like I mentioned, better bakeries for the farm tree. They can be better bakers, a home baker. You can have your armor smiths. You can have your cobblers, etc., etc. Really, really cool concept. I really like it. It makes sense too, if I'm not mistaken. That was a thing. That was a real thing. And that's how commerce really starts to work for your villages, is by specializing your families, making sure that, you know, they're not doing generalized stuff any longer. All the general stuff will be there for sure. You're not going to ever get rid of it, but you can start specializing your citizens as soon as your village starts accommodating it. For sure, it can kind of make things a little bit more difficult on the onset, because you're losing that worker for an assigned job, and you know that might hurt a little bit, but it makes more sense to get these artisans going, because you can also sell their goods for more regional wealth as well, which is really good and really, really nice. We're still waiting on timber to come in, so once we get to that point, I'm going to start building here with the homes, and I'm going to show you the kind of interesting, I'm not going to say it's unique, I've seen it in other games like this before, but I really like the process, the actual visual look of building in this game. So we'll get to that point, and I'll see you then. Okay, as you can see, they're starting to build the first home here. It's really, I don't know why, I just find this concept, and not only in this game, like I said, in other games as well, but it's just such a cool concept to see something built over time. It's not like, you know, 4 workers are just sitting there hammering at nothing, and then all of a sudden, boom, there's a building. I mean, it's really cool. StarCraft did something similar. In fact, even going so far back as to the original DOS Warcraft game, you could see them building things over time, which it's gotten better and better. Obviously, as the years have gone by, you know, 30 plus years at this point for that game. But just a really, really cool way to convey a building being built. You're not just placing it down and suddenly it's there. It just gives you a little bit more immersion, I suppose.
Nice work.
Thank you. I also love the random conversations that the villagers have. There's some really funny things that they say. Something about guys fighting and cutting, and someone trying to cut another guy's nipple or something funny. I don't know, just some funny stuff. Some really interesting and funny stuff. But let's get these homes built up here. I'm gonna just let you guys watch this, and I'm gonna fast forward time with how long it's gonna take with one single family building. So just enjoy the time lapse here. All right, so we attained a large enough village, which is a small village, to do an armament delivery, which is what we were seeing before. Now, that was in the options. You don't actually have to take the armament delivery in the options itself. I just, like I said, left everything default, but it's really cool. It gives us the ability to at least form a militia when we need to. There's one more plot remaining. However, I think we got the gist of it here. We also have all 5 of our families finally housed, which is good because they were not too happy about the homelessness. This also is a bug that I've noticed. Homelessness lingers for a really long time. for some reason. So I believe they said they were going to get that taken care of, thankfully. But as it stands, in order for us to grow, we have to have a positive approval rate. So we're not looking at that just yet, unfortunately. And we also need to obviously have the burgage for it as well, which we also don't have just yet, but we are building one more here, which is good. Now we need to think about how exactly we want to basically move this village forward. What kind of village are we going to make? I'm thinking of doing trade. Now, I have not watched any other YouTubers' Manor Lords videos, but I can already tell that the vast majority are probably going to deal with trade. It is just unbelievably useful in this game. Even though it's broken and buggy, it's still unbelievably useful. So it goes to show that it still needs some serious tweaks. But let's take a look. We have our development point now that we have available to us. Trade, like I said, is important. However, because we have the rich deposit of iron, I'm going to go ahead and go this route so that we can make deep mining a thing. We don't need trade routes immediately. We could just trade to people that happen to come in. And although it's nice to get trade logistics, then moving on to better deals immediately, so everything's cheap, we're good. We'll be fine. We're going to be self-sustaining for now, so trading isn't necessarily going to be the most important thing, but that's what we're going to lead to, because I want to do deep mining so that we can make our village an armor village, like making armor and whatnot, and then that way we can sell all of our goods to the world, essentially. So, with that being said, we now need to look towards our area over here where our mine is, our iron deposit rather, and we can go to the gathering or mining, excuse me, tab here. We can make our stonecutter camp if we want to right now, but we don't necessarily need it. But we definitely want that mining camp. So I'm just gonna plop this thing on down here. Make our road.
Why do I have to carry this alone?
I'm also gonna make it go over here as well. Just because I know in the future things will fill up here too. And it also gives a couple means of direction. It just seems to make sense to me. Alright, so we know we're going to be building up our mining pit here, and eventually it will become deep mining. In order for us to accomplish our next settlement level, we just need 2 level 2 plots. In order to achieve level 2, we have to meet the requirements of the village, which is very familiar if you've played Farthest Frontier. At least for me, that's the next closest analog with, you know, the requirements of a building to upgrade. I really feel like Farthest Frontier and this game are very closely aligned in what they present. Just how they present it is different. So this is what I was talking about, by the way, when it comes to the specializations. This is what's available altogether, not what's available for us immediately because our burgage plot is too low, but this is what we can do. Like I was saying, there's vegetables, chicken coops. You can have a goat shed to get hides passively, apple orchard, farmer's workshop, tailor workshop, bakery, blacksmith, cobbler, fletcher, brewer, and joiner. All cool little specializations you can do. And we will be exploring that for sure. We'll obviously be doing armorers. We'll do a cobbler. We'll do tailors because you need to have gambesons. We'll do joiners, etc. We'll do them all, to be quite honest. We're going to need all of them, so that's how we'll build up our village's wealth, essentially, is through specialization like that. But yeah, let's move forward a little bit and try to get some more people to come in. It's going to take a little bit of time until homelessness falls off. That's okay. We will get that taken care of for sure. But yeah, let's meet back up once we have a bit more in our village and go from there. Scene set. Okay, so we are starting to get people to come in finally. I'm building up a trading post right now. We're not likely going to use it immediately, but I'm still building it up for now. So what I need to work on is getting all of these little pits here filled in. So we need a church. We need clothing, which in this case, it's asking for linen, leather, or yarn. And we're about to run out of 2 types of food here very shortly, because we started with our bread.
This is heavier than it looks.
It gives us the 2 types with the meat and the bread. However, it's not going to last long, so we're going to lose that second level here, like I said, pretty shortly. I could
Come along.
put in vegetables, for instance, but that costs regional wealth, which I don't want to use regional wealth yet until I actually start getting regional wealth coming in. So with that being said, we need to explore what best area there is for us to build a farm. So if we go back here and we look at our overlay here, we'll look at Emmer fertility. We know immediately in this immediate vicinity that this spot right here is pretty good. However, there's all these trees right here. So in order for us to fix that, we could tell our logger and our woodcutter, we want to go to the advanced tab here. Right now they have an unlimited work area, which we don't want them to have that. We want to limit their area. So if I click control and use the mouse wheel up and down, it'll change the size of the work area. So I'm going to tell him right now, I want you to work in this immediate vicinity. Same with the woodcutter. I want you to work in this immediate vicinity. That way these trees will come down first. We can make a farm plot and a farmhouse, and then we can start getting grain in, and then we'll have to build a windmill so we can make flour, etc. There's a lot of different steps for that to happen. As you can tell here, I built a lot more burgages here. Built 4 more.
Hey, where are the
So that
pegs?
should give us, yeah, 10 houses total. Right now we're sitting at 6 families. We can get up to 10 before we need to build more, which is fine. And essentially I'm speeding up here. And essentially the last thing I did was built a tannery, which will now let us start using the hides that we're collecting. In fact, I'm going to tell that person to join up there. I can take this person off the granary here. So we still have 2 people building, etc., or unassigned. What this will let us do though is once they start making that stuff, we can go to our trade tab here and say, okay, I want to do a route with leather now that's going to cost me 36 to build the trade route. And this is what I was talking about, how trade routes can be kind of expensive, and it's congruent, if I'm not mistaken, with the size of your village, not with how much wealth you have. So if you establish a trade route right now at 36 regional wealth, that will leave us with 14 remaining. I think that's going to be okay because we could sell that leather. So I'm just going to do it now. We're going to establish a trade route. And then we're going to export. But here, this is how I can say this is how much desired surplus I have. I want to have at least, let's say 15. So until 15 is met, it's not going to export anything. But then once 15 is met, then we can sell it. This is something I wish I wasn't forced to do a trade route on, because like I mentioned before, trade routes can get kind of iffy at the moment because they're bugged. I could have just sold the hides for 2 less gold, but it's whatever. We're gonna just do the current method at the moment. We're gonna sell that leather, and hopefully it'll give us enough regional wealth to start doing some other type of trading. But we're not gonna make any more trade routes unless we absolutely have to, and that's where major trades you have to. So that's okay. And that is foreign exports, by the way. That's not looking for another village here. I'm not entirely sure what dictates
Why do I have to carry this?
how exports work village to village, other than you can go to the construction tab and then the trade tab here, or not the trade tab, sorry, the logistics tab, and make a pack station. And pack stations, you can literally barter goods between villages that you have. My personal opinion, not the best. I really think the trading post should be where it's at. Pack stations should honestly replace the livestock tab in this trading post. I really feel like this can be done away with and make pack stations required for horses to move back and forth. Now, pack stations use mules in this case, so maybe keep this and make the horses rideable only, and then the mules can carry everything else, and then you can be a little bit quicker that way. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of the barter system between your own regions. It doesn't really make much sense to me. I feel like bartering should be done between regions you don't own, but since we don't have any AI controlling any other villages, it's kind of a moot point for right now. But that being said, we still have a means of moving goods between villages once we get a second village, that is. For now, we're just going to focus on selling just that leather. We're going to keep making our woodcutter lodge and our logger. Just hit these trees here so that we can eventually make that field. And then we can work on getting some other types of food here and eventually the church. Now, we are sitting on 21 timber, which is more than enough for me to build this church. So back in the residential tab here, we'll make that church, except I'm wrong. I forgot. We need planks. So we need to build a saw pit. Now, I thought I would have enough space there, but apparently I don't. So I'm just going to move him right there. You can move buildings, but I'm not going to do that right now. It's not that big a deal. You could just keep this like this. So with the saw pit, I can make planks. Planks are okay to sell, especially when you get them, like so many of them. Problem is, with how trade works at the moment, there's a point in time where if you sell too many, there's an oversupply of goods. The cost goes down to like one gold or one regional wealth, whatever you want to call it. And then eventually it just does no foreign exports at all. And that is where the game bugs out. Because as soon as it hits that point, no matter if you tell your other villagers, hey, just import planks like crazy, make a lot of planks come in, blah, 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 doesn't matter. It's just broken from that point on. And you have to wait forever for it to correct itself if it even does that. So I'm going to try to make sure that we don't do anything like that so we don't run into any type of bugs. But hopefully we can get around anything that happens like that. Let's, one more time, let's look at the fertility here. We might be able to get away with here. I really would just rather wait for this spot so we can build an actual decent yield wheat field. But let's meet up at that point. Let's get together here once I'm able to actually put the field in. Okay, so I have finally got that field placed. I'm just waiting for these guys to clear out these trees and logs and whatnot. But as you can tell, I put it on top of basically the best spot we can, at least in this immediate vicinity for emmer. We're not going to worry about flax or barley or rye at the moment, though rye obviously is going to be really good on this spot. But with emmer, at least with wheat, we have the ability to grow at least a little bit more than you normally would in the other zones. The other zones, I mean, this one here, holy cow. We might want to go for this one here when we're able to take over some zones here, but if I go back here, there we go. You could see that for the most part, most zones are just all right. They're not terribly great in some spots. They're not terribly good in some spots. I mean, it's really hit or miss. It's these other zones, like this is just crazy. This is your breadbasket right here. This whole area is practically triple positive for emmer, which means rye is going to be crazy good here. Barley is even decent. So is flax. Like this is where it's at. It's too bad we couldn't start here. But that's all right. We'll manage. At least for now, we have our double positive emmer field. Now for us to actually take advantage of it, we need to create a farmhouse. Now let's get this closed there. There we go. Now I would want to put our farmhouse probably, honestly, probably here. Because this is not like the best. I mean, it's a positive, but it's not going to make that big of a difference. So this gives us the ability to at least stay away from this nicer land where we can make another little area here. Now, the way these fields work, I'm starting out with the unit of measurement is a morgan. And sorry, I don't know what that means. It's just the unit of measurement they're using. I'm sure it's some medieval type of measurement, but yeah, I'm going to start with a 1 morgan field. And it recommends that you start that way. But as you can see here, currently it is fallow. I'm going to turn on the crop rotation. So this season, it'll stay fallow. Next season, I'm going to do wheat with its fertility rate of only 39%. I am not sure how to get the fertilization to 100% because I've had sheep on the pasture. I've had many sheep on the pasture. In fact, maxed out on the pasture, and it doesn't go more than 45% on a double positive. So I don't know if that's a bug or if that's by design, but that's what we're looking at for these normally, is around 39 to 45% with a double positive on an emmer for wheat. So got more people moving in. In fact, we only have one more home that's empty left. We should be building another set of houses here soon. But I think this actually might be a good place to stop. Our village is growing. We do have our wheat field up. We just need to build the farmhouse and get that up and running, and then we could put people on there and they could start getting the field going. We have our mine, our deep mine, or our mining pit, excuse me. Here, you just notice here, bandits are stealing our stuff, which sucks. It's because there's bandit camps nearby. We'll have to take care of them as well. We just don't have quite enough people yet. I don't feel comfortable sending out villagers when we have 18. These are usually in a unit of 36. We just need to get to that point. In fact, we only really need to get up to 20 because we only have 20 shields and spears at the moment. So we'll do that, and then we'll try to take care of the bandits. But we don't want to lose a lot of people either from warfare, at least at the beginning for sure. But yeah, it's where we stand. It's currently raining at the moment, but all of our goods are inside, so we're good there. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this game so far. I am going to do some more videos of it. I am obviously still going to be doing Big Ambitions, but I'm switching that. I want that to be a Monday, Wednesday, Friday thing. And this will be more like a Tuesday, Thursday type of video. Hopefully that works for you guys. It's going to work for me at least. And yeah, I really enjoy the game, personally speaking. That I have probably about 20 or 30 hours into it actually at this point. And yeah, I do like the game. It has its current flaws, like every game that's just released in early access. Do not fault them for that. It's a single developer. One guy. One guy is doing all this. I would give him props because that's a very difficult thing to accomplish. So just take that, you know, as it is. Don't fault him for taking a little bit of time to get things fixed up. He is working alone. Anyway, spiel is done. I thank you guys once again for watching today. And of course, if you have not done so, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I got tons of Big Ambitions videos there. I'm going to be doing tons of these videos for sure. I really want this game to take off, and I think it's going to be a really fun game, especially as development goes on and when they get mods. I can't wait for that as well. It's going to be super fun. But once again, guys, I thank you. And of course, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. It really helps. And I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.